Hi, welcome back. I'm Shana from Garden of My Delights and the Growing Inspiration podcast. Can you relate to this? You started the year with a resolution to read more. You had a shelf of books that you wanted to dive into. You could picture yourself with a cup of tea and a blanket, just engrossed in a book. You were going to read 50 books this year. And then you blink, and it's April, and you don't know where the time has gone. Maybe you finish one book, and fits and starts between other things. You look back and wonder where the months went. You were busy every day, but none of it was the life you pictured. And the books on your shelf that were friends inviting you in have now become accusers, pointing out how you have failed yet again to get control of your time. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk about how to gain control of your time to build a sustainable knowledge practice. I've been optimizing my schedule for many, many, many years. Looking back over my journals, even over the last 10 to 15 years, it's full of discussions of how can I get a little bit more time here, or should I move this activity to this part of the day? When my daughter was young, I would try to find bits of time when maybe she was eating breakfast or napping to do something that I'd been wanting or needing to do. Maybe fold a little bit of laundry or read an article. So I've struggled with this all my life, and I know many of you are in that same boat. There are so many things you want to do. Things you want to read, skills you want to learn, music you want to make, poems you want to write, new cuisines that you want to cook. Things that have nothing to do with your job and everything to do with who you are. So how do we gain control of this very finite resource that we have and use it in the best way possible? Here's the truth. You probably have more time than you think. The problem isn't a lack of time, it's that your available time is scattered throughout your day in small, disconnected chunks. Author Brigid Schulte calls this phenomenon time confetti, those 15-minute gaps, 30-minute windows, and fragmented hours that seem too small to use for anything meaningful. But what if you could gather that confetti and turn it into something powerful? That realization changed how I approach my own schedule. Instead of waiting for a big open stretch of time that was never going to appear, I learned to work with the time I actually had. And one of the things I've learned to do is to track my time over the course of a week, and that helps me figure out where my time is actually going. If you're honest with yourself, you start to see patterns. You can see, well, I looked at my phone and I got sucked into Instagram for another half an hour, or it always takes me longer than I expect to get the kids out the door in the morning, or I missed a workout because I had to clean up a mess that the dog made. And life happens, things come up. But if we can identify patterns where things take longer, or we can maybe be more efficient, maybe we can gain control of that. And that's why I built the Big Rocks Weekly Tracker. It will help you discover your hidden time and begin to design your ideal week. The link to this is in the show notes. The tracker is built around a concept that you may have heard of called the Big Rocks. Think of your schedule as a jar that you're filling, and the size of the materials correspond to their importance. The Big Rocks are your non-negotiables and your highest priorities for personal growth. Examples of the non-negotiables might be work hours, your family dinner, school pickup, your sleep schedule. Examples of priorities for personal growth might be a yoga practice, studying to learn something new, painting, playing music, date nights with your partner, working on a side business. There are lots of things that are important to you. And as I discussed in one of my previous episodes about the origin of my company, Garden of My Delights, the big rocks are the things that feed your soul. They're not necessarily things that other people think you ought to do. Things that matter to you. And then the modules or pebbles are important, but they're flexible activities that can be moved around. So these are important activities that can flex based on your day. Examples might be meal prep, laundry, watering plants, walking the dog, paying bills. I also like to try to make time for aspirational activities, which might be things that you really want to do but aren't part of your regular routine yet. And some examples of those might be journaling, calling old friends, reading poetry, or organizing old photos or recipes. It's important to note that one person's big rock may be another person's aspirational activity. You decide what is important in your life. And then the sand are small tasks that fill the remaining spaces. And to me, the sand are the tiny little things that really don't get scheduled. It may not even need to be done, like checking Instagram or TikTok. So if you start with the sand and the pebbles, if you put those in your jar first, there isn't room for the big rocks and for the things that truly matter. But when you put the big rocks in first, everything else fits in around them. and they find their place. Once you have the framework clear, the tracker gives you a two-part system to put it into practice. First, get crystal clear on what you actually want to fit into your life, the non-negotiables and the practices that will lead to personal growth and fulfillment. And then second, you spend 1 week tracking what actually fits into your schedule. This gives you an honest picture of what's already working, what's getting squeezed out, and then where your hidden time pockets are hiding. So once you've tracked your time for a week or two, you can start to make calculations about where you might be able to adjust your schedule. And in some cases, you'll find that an activity is much more likely to be accomplished if it's in the morning versus the afternoon or the other way around. Through identifying what matters to you and then tracking your time, you become much more aware of where your time is going during the day. Remember, though, that this is about awareness. You're gathering data to design a schedule that fits your life. Don't let perfection keep you from progress. What builds a sustainable practice is being able to start small and consistently build and give yourself the confidence that, yes, you are accomplishing this. It's just going to take a little bit of effort, a little bit of trial and error, and being able to give yourself some grace when you don't accomplish something, because life always comes up and intervenes. So I've given you the tracker to start, but I want to help you take it all the way. On April 25th, I'm hosting a live workshop called Make Time for What Matters, a lifelong learner's guide to sustainable knowledge practice. It's 1 hour and is designed for exactly the kind of person who is listening to this podcast right now. In that hour, you're going to take everything the tracker reveals and turn it into a real weekly schedule, one that fits your actual life, one that makes room for the books and the learning and the creative practice and whatever it is that has been waiting on that shelf. You'll walk away with a plan and with the confidence that this time is going to stick. And even if you haven't downloaded the tracker yet, that's fine. We'll walk through it together in the workshop. So the link to the workshop is in the show notes. Start with a free tracker if you haven't already. Use it for a week, and then join me on April 25th to turn those insights into your plan. I would love to see you there. Thank you for spending this time with me. See you on the 25th.